grief is a very selfish term. Grief is not about the person on the other end, it's about how that person has made you feel. You might be able to sympathize with some situations, but you'll never be able to understand them. It's like when somebody says to me about my mum's death, it's like, I know how you feel. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to be a dick about it. Just a serious question. Is your mum dead? No. Then you don't have a fucking clue how I feel.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to another heart-opening episode of Liberate Your Bliss. I'm Chelsi, and today we're diving deep into the sacred waters of healing after loss. Our journey together promises to expand your understanding of grief and resilience and the incredible power we all hold to rebuild our lives from the ground up. I'm honored to introduce you to Matt, a beacon of light for those navigating the stormy seas of grief. You might recognize Matt from his appearance on Married at First Sight in the UK, but today he's here to share a deeply personal and transformative journey. Matt's story is one of profound loss, rebirth, and the discovery of purpose through pain. After losing his beloved mother, Matt found himself on an unexpected path of healing and growth. And this journey led him to create a powerful step-by-step system for rebuilding your life after losing a loved one. A gift he now shares with others walking similar paths. In our soul-stirring conversation, we'll explore the four-phase system of acknowledge, embrace, integrate, and rebuild. So whether you're struggling with loss, feeling stuck in cycles of pain, or seeking ways to support someone who's grieving, this episode has something for you. So open your hearts and minds as we explore the transformative power of embracing grief and the journey of self-discovery with Matt. Welcome here. This is Matt. Matt is probably one of the most authentic guests that I've had on this podcast so far, from just 15 minutes of sharing conversation with you. But from what I've seen, you are really, really helping people navigate grief. What was the turning point for you that got you really invested in helping other people here with this journey?
Helping other people has always been a part of my journey. I've known from a very young age that helping other people is what I'm here for. But life gets in the way. And then you have to navigate life, and your 20s and mid-20s and late 20s, they're all very separate periods of your life. And you might think you know who you are at 25, but you've got no fucking idea. You think you know. But then 30-year-old you looks at 25-year-old you and you're like, who the fuck was that? So when I was 21, I did a course in life coaching. So I'm 35 now, 14 years ago. I did a life coaching course. I just found it super interesting. It wasn't this cliche Instagrammable thing back then. There wasn't even Instagram when I was 21. I then realized there is power in helping other people. Then I looked at like counseling courses and therapy courses and psychology at university. 3 times I nearly went to study psychology at university, but everyone I spoke to, I was like, I already know this information. Like through my own research and my own reading, and most of the conversations I was having with friends or relatives that were going to therapy, they'd come back and they'd be like, well, what's the point in me paying for therapy? They said everything you said. Fast forward to where we are now. I thought that I wanted to work in the fitness industry because I am very passionate about what I do for working out. Like, I fucking adore it. I sometimes go to bed at night thinking about my workout in the morning, and I plan it. And that's how, some people count sheep. I count reps. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do here? Through a series of conversation on this random island, in this random existence, on this random rock that we are on floating through space, I was navigated by, and everyone can call it whatever they want, but for me, I don't even like the word universe, it's overused that much now, but that force that we know that's at play navigated me to exactly where I'm meant to be. I lost my mum 18, 19, 20 months ago, August 2023. It was strange because as much as I was in pain, I felt like, I went away the day after for 3 days, and then a couple of days after that I was back in work, and everyone was like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right, because I'd already crammed so much philosophy into my mind over the years. I was able to grieve her while she was still alive because I knew what was coming. I wasn't in denial. I wasn't pushing it away. I wasn't, I kind of understood the process without actually living the process. And then it happened. And of course there was pain. And of course it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my existence. I found out what dry screaming was because I'd never done that before. And these things were happening to my face. And I was like screaming as loud as I possibly could whilst crying, but no sound was coming out. Crazy experience. Like, never experienced that in my life. My jaw would just open and I would just start fucking, and all this shit was coming out of me, but there was no sound, and it was blowing my mind. I was like, what is happening to my life? And then I lost my business. Like, everything with me being so focused on my mum, I lost a lot of stuff, but I didn't lose anything in hindsight. I gained a lot. Like, I'm a massive believer in energy. It's undeniable in my life. It's undeniable in the people around me. It's undeniable in my journey. So when mum went, I learned how to acknowledge something. I learned how to embrace what's going on, how to integrate it into my life, how to turn the pain into the purpose type thing, and realize that actually you can give this to other people, really make a fucking difference. Because people messaged me even until I realized what I was meant to do, even until it had to punch me square in the nose for me to understand what my purpose was. People would message me all the time, and they'd be like, "You stopped me from killing myself, thank you. And you would have never known that, but I wanted to let you know." Or I'd get a voice note off a random guy with a fake account crying, and he'd be coked out of his head somewhere and suicidal. And I'm not the type of person which isn't going to respond to that voice note and that level. And then they message me 6 months down the line saying, "Thank you to you, thank you to your content, and thank you for like your authenticity. Like, I've been off drugs now for 4 months. I'm in the gym. Like, I've met somebody." And all this shit. I'm like, fuck. Do you know? Like, you cannot, unless you have delivered that level of change to somebody in their life unknowingly, and then they tell you about what you have done unknowingly in the background, you will never understand that feeling and how powerful it is. And that led me to understanding that my purpose is to help people navigate grief.
And why grief specifically? Was it your mother's death that was the big thing for you?
The biggest part of it was definitely my mum's death, yeah. It wasn't even just that. It was the people that followed my journey. So obviously I appeared on Married at First Sight. I was on 30 episodes of national TV. And so a lot of people started to follow my journey. Now, they saw on the TV my mum had cancer, and it was terminal. She couldn't make it to the wedding, for example. And there is, which I'm forever grateful for, because now I can look back. If Instagram went down tomorrow, if all my photos were burnt, all my memories were gone, I can log on to any fucking computer or watch any TV in the entire world, go on Channel 4, go to season 7, episode 12, Married at First Sight UK, and I can watch me and my mum sat in a cafe having a conversation.
How beautiful.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when people say, "Do you regret that show?" I'm like, absolutely fucking not. No, and not for the reasons you might be thinking of on that surface level. Like, I mean, for a start, I wouldn't be sat here talking to you in Bali. How random is life, you know?
It totally is. Even last week for me, I had a party girl. Chelsi is probably one of the biggest. Now I work with shame, right? This is why I want to talk to you about grief, because it's different with me. I really work with mostly men and women that are stuck in the shame spiral, addiction coming from that, the rejection and all of that. And party girl Chelsi, like you said, 25-year-old me thought she knew everything, like turning into 30-year-old me. Now I'm 37, looking back. And even 33-year-old party girl Chelsi is someone I struggle with. But that TV show, last week I had somebody come to me and say, "Your content has changed my life. Can I come work with you? Can we do an intensive?" And I was sitting there like you, and I was like, you know what? I've been judging that TV show, wanting to hide it, but look at what it's brought me. It's still, even cokehead Chelsi is energetically bringing people towards God, towards healing. So there's nothing to actually be embarrassed about, and there's nothing to shame of my own journey with that.
Let's just put it this way with what you've just said, is if I was to take that situation and reframe it, all of the things that were televised about you, I have done, but they just weren't on TV. Mm-hmm. And so is every motherfucker else. It just wasn't on TV, Mm-hmm. So the actual fact in the things that you do in your existence while we're here, like the difference between something you know about and something you don't is literally a camera. It's just been brought to your attention. Anybody who comes after those situations, I think with a little bit of self-reflection, will realize that they're either mad at themselves because they never had that in them, and they have little bits of regret that they never had that outlet and did that partying and did that. I can tell you not to do cocaine because I did a lot of fucking cocaine. Right? If you've never done cocaine, don't fucking tell me not to do cocaine. Because your opinion, shut the fuck up. Like, close your little science book and fuck off, right? Because you're not welcome here. Like, you're not. Drugs are bad. Shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Weed is a drug. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, but no.
And that kind of tailors into your lived experience, right? Like, you can go see any psychologist in the world to go. And this is what really pisses me off about the medicine that we have in the UK and in America. I'm going and seeing a therapist to talk to me about being molested or raped as a little girl. They've never gone through that. They're taught about the cognitive
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
But in real, I'd rather go see somebody with lived experience that's gotten through that, found the other side, found healing, and loved their body again. To me, that's what makes you really special, is the lived experience that you talk about. Why is lived experience so much better than traditional therapy?
Let's take your average psychologist, for example. Now, this is a blanket statement, so you have to be careful what you say because some people will be offended naturally, but I don't care. So a clinical psychologist might sit in an office with a nice piece of paper on the wall behind them saying that they're a clinical psychologist. Now, if you take a psychologist and look at it for what it is, to me that says you probably had a two-parent household. Again, blanket statement. It says that you probably had a two-parent household, which means life was pretty comfortable. It was comfortable enough for you to study so that you could get through school, so that you could then go to college, so then you could go to university. You could afford the university bills, which means that I don't think life's quite kicked you in the dick hard enough for me to be able to for you to understand me. Like, if I'm from a council estate, if I grew up a little bit rougher than most, you're sat there coming from a really nice background, you might be able to sympathize with some situations, but you'll never be able to understand them. It's like when somebody says to me about my mum's death, it's like, I know how you feel. And I'm like, is your mum dead? I'm not even trying to be a dick about it. Just a serious question. Is your mum dead? No. Then you don't have a fucking clue how I feel. And it's probably the worst thing that you can say to somebody. I know you're only trying to help, right? I understand that it's coming from a place of love, but for anybody who's listening, if you ever get somebody whose parent dies or somebody close to them dies, please try and understand how they're feeling. Yes, absolutely. But don't ever use the phrase, look, I know how you're feeling. Look, I work in grief. I speak to people about grief, and we all agree on this topic. Don't say you know how you feel when you don't.
I think that really resonates for all levels. A part of us as a society wants, we're wired for connection, safety and connection, yet the way that the whole world has orchestrated it, it kind of pulls people out of that with the whole achievement cycle with school. Like you said, you go to school, you're graded, you're put in all these different groups, you associate with this and this, and it is hard to empathize and understand what everybody's going through. Do you believe grief is different when it's grief from loss versus grief from heartbreak or grief from rejection? Or would you say it's a similar emotion?
I'd say it's a very similar emotion. I think you are grieving something. Grief is a very selfish term because grief is not about the person on the other end. It's about how that person has made you feel. You might spend some time grieving the fact that, what pain are they in? What are they going through? But once they're gone, the grief is about what you lost. It's not about them being gone. It's the pain is coming from you lost something. So grief is actually a very selfish thing. But it's okay. It's necessary, but it is. And I think once we reframe that and we start there and we realize what grief is, it's a lot easier to start to deal with. So yes, I would say that they are all in all a very similar process because it's an internal thing. It's not an external thing.
Yeah, you're so right. The way that when I look at, healing, a lot of the time when I'm doing, energy work and such on my clients, grief is what people run from the most. And it's almost like love with nowhere to go because it's I want this person to be here right now. They're not here. I have this love to give. And what do I do with that? And it kind of gets this energy. People get angry, they get sad, like all the emotions that come from that. Do you see that with your clients as well? Like the different stages? And is that actually real, the 7 stages of grief?
Look, the 7 stages of grief is a clinical approach to grief. And it's very much the same as, look, these are things you may experience. And also they may not necessarily come in this order. They're a really helpful tool for people, but I think they can also be slightly misleading to the point where somebody may be left feeling a little bit more isolated before they read the 7 stages of grief, plain and simply because I don't feel any of those things, so I'm not normal, And it's like, okay, cool, let's explore that. Well, no, it's nothing to do with you not being normal. It's to do with the fact that these are a blanket statement, okay? I could line 100 people up in here now. I could punch every single one of them in the face, okay? Those people are not going to feel the pain the exact same. The neuroreceptors in their brain are not going to register the levels of pain. And the same force for every single person. And one of them, they might not even fucking feel it. There isn't a one-size-fits-all when it comes to grief, and everybody needs to... Again, the people who wrote this, they're just trying to help. But when I see coaches online, this is what they're preaching. And it's like, I'm going to help you navigate the 7 stages. Careful.
Yeah, it's almost like putting the process in a box, and we're all so different, and we're all wired different.
You just said then about you have all this love to give, but it's nowhere to go. I think one of the biggest things, and it's probably a 50-50 split, is the love that they received. How the person that's gone made them feel. So not necessarily like, I've got this love to give and there's no one here to give it to.
There's a void also.
There's a void there from the feeling of them being here and them no longer being here. And that void usually ends up being filled with substance abuse because it's easier to run from it than it is to deal with it.
Yeah, it's easier to numb than it is to feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can stand here and say I've done all the numbing, all the running. The feelings followed, though.
Yeah, I've done all the numbing and all the running without realizing I was numbing and running. I didn't even know that's what was happening.
Well, we're expected. Somebody passes. We go through grief. We go through heartbreak. It's not acceptable to take time off from work and grieve. Somebody passed away. What do you get? One day, one bereavement day, go to the funeral, and then you're expected to be back at work sharp and on top of it. Like, what kind of a system have we built to even support such a process like that, which, look, it completely changed your life, and I'm sure it's changing everybody's.
Again, people are going to be in very different situations as well. Like, not everybody thinks like I think. Not everybody thinks like you think. Not everybody. But the thing is, life had to kick me for me to be able to think the way that I think.
For anybody that's watching this that is going through grief, regardless of what the situation is, what would be the first step that you would tell somebody to do that was going through that?
Grieve.
Simply
It
grieve.
sounds stupid, but it's what a lot of people don't do. They avoid the grief. They avoid the process of the grief with the numbing, with the addictions that follow, with the... Look, when I say addictions, we are bred to believe that addictions just means drugs, but it's not. Like, it could be a sex addiction. You could be out there seeking continuous validation from people because you've got a void to fill and you can fill it other ways. It could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be gambling. There's a number of reasons, a number of resources that you can use to fill a void.
Like, what were the ones that you used when you were going through yours?
Again, I didn't realize I was until I realized I was, There's a little bit of philosophy for you. Alcohol was never a huge part of my life. I went through periods where I would drink alcohol. I'd drink 2 bottles of wine a night just to get to sleep at one point in my life. There's been multiple occasions throughout my life where cocaine's been a huge part of my life. But then with cocaine comes diazepam, because I don't want that come down. So I'm going to take this. That's going to knock me out. That's going to be fucking fine. But then I got to a point in my life where I'd done a load of cocaine. I'd been drinking straight Jägermeister all night. I was taking steroids at the time as well. On the way home in the taxi, I took 2 10-milligram diazepam. I got back, got in bed, rolled a joint, and I started to smoke this joint, and I had my first ever panic attack. And I'd never experienced a panic attack before. I thought they were bullshit. Like, I thought, what the fuck is a panic attack? And I was like, I thought I was going to fucking die. Like, I genuinely thought I was going to die. I was ready to write goodbye notes with my final breaths. And I rang 111. And the woman on the phone, I was like, I don't want to waste anyone's time because I don't know what's actually happening. But now I'm speaking to you on the phone. It doesn't feel as bad. So I don't know what's going on, but I couldn't feel my legs. Like, everything was just all numb and tingly. And I couldn't get my breath. I could not control my breathing. And I was like, what the fuck is happening to me? Which was making me panic more because I didn't understand it. And then, anyway, they ended up sending me an ambulance. I was like, don't send an ambulance. Don't waste the time. Don't waste the money. Like, don't do it. Like, anyway, she was like, Matthew, there's an ambulance outside. And I was like, oh. And then they came upstairs, and because I literally couldn't feel my legs, so I couldn't walk. So they assisted me down 2 flights of stairs in the house, put me in the back of the ambulance, hooked me up to all the machines, and they were like, dude, you've just had a panic attack. And the second they told me what it was, I was fine. So we couple all of these things. The panic attack, that was before Mum's death. But then after Mum's death, they started to come. Now I can control them now. I'm in control of a panic attack. So it's not that they don't come, but it's when they do come, I'm ready for them. So I know exactly what to do to stop that from happening. I've got complete psychological control over anything that can happen with a panic attack now. They started to come and come and come and come after Mum's death. So obviously that led to me drinking a little bit more, or looking the other way when I was having a drink, as in, like, my rule, I never drank during the week, ever. But then I started, okay, there's a bottle of whiskey in there. Let's just have a couple, I tried to drink without doing any cocaine, and I blacked out, and I don't remember the night. Like I don't remember the night, but I woke up in a I don't want to discuss too much, but it was an awful fucking night, and it was an awful feeling the next day because I was like, that is not who the fuck I am. Like what I was told and stuff like the day after, and like I was like, that's not who the fuck I am as a person. Like that's not me, you know. Like that is fuck, and I've not touched a drop of alcohol since.
Since that night. Was that rock bottom for you?
That was the bottom. That was the that it doesn't, for me personally, in my mind, and I've been at a lot of lows in life. That was my moment of turning. That was my moment of reconcile. Like, okay, dude, like with what's just happened in your life, you cannot drink. Like you cannot drink because it ain't hitting you like it used to hit you. It's hitting you and it's bringing out shit in you that is trapped.
What was in there? Was there like anger in there? Was there more self-sabotage? What was under there? Because it's like, you know, on the outside, a lot of us, we walk around this world and people say, how are you? And you're just like, I'm good.
Oh, see, I don't do that.
I
understand exactly
but
what you're
world,
saying. Yeah. But
I'm
if
saying,
you say to me, how are you? And I'm not great,
good.
You better be prepared for a fucking conversation.
Thank
like,
good, right.
Don't ask me something and not be prepared for the answer.
It's really the most infuriating thing to me. But when I look out at the majority of society, of the people that aren't in their authentic, you know, versions of themselves, oh, how are you? Good. And all I see is parasympathetic nervous systems masked with this smile, you know, and it's like you said, like that panic attack going into that parasympathetic for you and experiencing that. I think the majority of human beings feel like that and have no fucking clue that they feel that way.
I had a conversation this morning, and it was with another coach, and they're trying to move their business from one space into another space, from low ticket to high ticket. And I was saying about, you need to remember that the people that you're coaching don't think like you. Like, and out in Bali, it is very easy to forget that because you're surrounded by coaches. You are surrounded by every motherfucker that works in your industry. Mm-hmm. And you start to believe subconsciously that it's them that is listening to your content. Yeah, and it's them that you need to help. I mean, most of these motherfuckers need help, okay? That goes on
I think most
record.
of the coaches need help too, okay?
But, no, I mean, they don't even have to be coaches. I'm just on about this island. Everyone's fucked. Everybody, I don't think I've ever been in a place, and I mean this with all the love in the world, okay? I really do, but I don't think I've ever been in a place where I've met so many broken people in one cafe.
Searching for truth. Searching for something and avoiding the one thing that they need to do, which is feel.
Yeah, right. Oh.
They just need to fucking feel their feelings. That's, you know, just it's unbelievable how unsafe people feel to feel.
Something clicked for the first time for me the other day. And I was reading my book. Now, the book that I'm reading is a series of lectures by a philosopher called Alan Watts. And I've spent years and years of my life listening to his lectures, writing them down, studying he's like the dad that I wish I had. You know, like when he speaks and I listen to his lectures, I feel like I'm on my hands and knees in the prayer position, absorbing information. Like if somebody said, who's God? Like that man is God to me. You know, like he is my version of what I think a person should give other people in the world. I was reading a paragraph in the book. Now, I've heard this paragraph spoken multiple times, a multitude of times. And I understood the paragraph. I understood the concept of the paragraph, but it didn't click. And the other day it just went bam, and it snapped into my fucking head. And I was like, oh shit. And it was like, the only way to truly be Zen in life and truly be Zen is to not talk about Zen. Most of the people talking about Zen are not Zen. And it just fucking hit me. And it's like, look, I respect everybody's belief systems, and it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed my opinion on them. And if my opinion offends people, I don't care. That's something you need to protect. Like, you need to work on protecting how you feel about my opinion, because I'm not trying to be insulting. There's something very different about being offended by somebody who's trying to offend you or somebody with an opinion. They're two very separate things. Mm-hmm. You tend to find a lot of people hiding behind charging crystals at full moons. And I'm sorry, but that's got fucking... I know what you're trying to do, right? And I understand the core concept and principle of what's happening and what's going on, yeah? I really do. But it's like chakras, for example, in the body, right? We view them as these different colored stones and we give them names, but that is just a representation of the transfer of energy. It's not real, okay? There's not multiple coloured stones inside your body like a lot of people tend to think there is, and this isn't going to match this, and rubbing this here ain't going to do shit.
You're talking like a Taoist, and I love it. Anything that can be named is bullshit. It's
Yes.
But I think the problem is we logically want to make sense of something that makes no fucking sense because it's too big for us to make sense of, so we try to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that as well because I love the Tao. I love Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I don't know if you've read that by Wayne Dyer. It's exactly that. It's like we're all so preoccupied with defining a thing that we have no fucking clue about as a human being. Can't you just ride the wave, you know? Can't you just ride the wave and trust if it feels bad, it isn't for you. If it feels good, keep going. If it feels bad, feel the bad. See what it is that's making you feel bad, right? Like who, what, where is triggering you? Why are you in the trigger? What person is invalidating you? What place? And why are you putting yourself there? That's your choice. We have choice in this world. And I think grief and trauma and all of these things kind of get in the way of joy, which is what we ultimately want, right? But if we don't feel the feelings, we're just running from the thing and we're just going to keep running into it over and over and over again until we face it and neutralize it.
I agree.
But you're right. And I got to tell you, I am so that girl with the moons, and I run moon ceremonies. I totally do. I've got them. I do inner child healing.
I'm that girl with the moon.
I'm that girl with the moons. And the reason I do
I'm the DMT guy that says there is no inner child. Everybody comes back and they've all got something to say about the inner child. Not once on a DMT. I've experienced every fucking emotion in the world, but I've never seen a fucking inner child.
So to me, with those concepts, are the best ways so far that these concepts are the best way that I have been able to communicate with people that don't understand how we speak. Yeah. I can talk to them about an inner child and they can make sense of it and start to process their feelings based on versions of their inner child. Because if they can feel the anger and look at it like an inner child is angry, then they can give themselves compassion as a 35-year-old angry 8-year-old.
I'm glad I came to this conversation. You're very interesting.
Thank you.
It's nice to actually speak to somebody who understands.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find. I think it's quite an isolating, lonely experience having any kind of wisdom or any kind of knowledge about life and know and truly understand, not some fake bullshit you're feeding yourself in the world, but truly understand who you are, what your purpose is. Look, I get it. We all still doubt ourselves. We all still have moments of imposter syndrome, and we all still have do you know what I mean? Every individual person does, but to be able to sit across the table from somebody whose brain understands what fucking information that I'm trying to send over.
I totally get it.
And I'm allowed to articulate it in a sense of which, do you know what I mean? And then when you speak, it makes sense, which I find really difficult because a lot of people in this world, they speak, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Because I really struggle too, and sometimes it's like... So this weekend, for example, I ran a retreat. I had 6 girls. And I want to talk to you about this as well, because I think this is another really important thing. So I had 6 girls come in, and the amount of darkness, the amount of heaviness in their energy system that we processed and we moved through somatically over 6 energy sessions was massive. And for the 4 days, I was able to sit there, love on them, hold them, help them make sense of it, help them get themselves back into a grounded state. I've been fucked for 2 days. Does that ever happen to you?
Absolutely.
Like I haven't been able to get out of bed. I almost canceled this podcast today. I'm like...
Would have been helpful if you did.
Well, and I don't think so, actually. I think this conversation is really going to help people because people are either going to think we both need to go to the loony bin or maybe they'll come join us on this.
You two need therapy. Yeah. We're sat here thinking we're all philosophical and we've got everything sussed out and we know the world and how to help people. And everybody else in the world is like, yo, they're fucked. What about if we are the fucked ones?
Well, I feel like
what
the
about
homeless,
if we've got it wrong?
What about the homeless people? I always see them walking around and I'm like, you know what? I think they actually get it.
Yeah.
They have no attachments, no things. They don't give a fuck. They're talking to the trees.
Just heroin. Look, I'm a very emotional guy. I feel fucking everything. I'm not afraid of crying. I'm not afraid of like having a breakdown. I'm not afraid of staying in bed for 2 days if I feel like I need to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like depressed. Body needs deep rest. Like it's not always.
I love that. Can we say that louder for the people in the back? Deep rest.
Literally.
Deep rest. Please.
Deep rest.
How do I get out? And I hate the antidepressants because it's just pulling you out of the feeling. Just, you're depressed. It's okay. Like I have people say that's the one thing. when they come into my sessions and I have everyone have a 1 minute dump on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dump on me. What's going on? Before we start the group session, I want to know, like, what's everyone going through? And then everyone has to say, like, I'm feeling angry and it's okay. Or I'm feeling depressed and it's okay. Like, why are we trying to bypass where we are and skip steps?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you see with grief as well? It's like, oh, you need to be okay by this date. Like, what?
This is the thing as well. So I run a 12-week rebuild program, and I set expectations with my client. And I also guarantee that if I don't get you the result that you're looking for within 12 weeks, I will continue to work with you for free.
And why 12 weeks? Because mine's 12 weeks, and I want to see if you're the same.
The way that I describe it to my clients is like a course of antibiotics, okay? We're terrible at taking antibiotics. We're terrible at taking prescription drugs, because what we usually do is we take it till the problem goes away. If the problem goes away before the 7-day prescription is over, we stop taking them. And what happens 2 weeks later, it comes back, okay? So you're the fucking problem. And so I say that in my mind mentally, I know through experience and through what I do that I can assist somebody in navigation of perspective change in their mind over a period of around 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. Most of the time it's 3 weeks, 3 sessions, 3 face-to-face on the computer over Zoom, plus the homework that I set in these periods of time. Every single person that I work with is an individual, so I don't write programs before I know the person. I never write a single program before I've had my first coaching call with somebody, because how can I? Like, how can I tell you what you need when I don't fucking know you? Like, and if I am at a high ticket level, if I am charging somebody £3,000 to work with me for 12 weeks, they deserve that. You know,
100%. They
deserve that level. And my clients are always in my head. I'm always thinking like, oh, I wonder, you know, like it's a big thing. The 12 weeks for me ensures that the prescription is fulfilled. I don't necessarily think it takes 12 weeks to get to the point. But for example, I'll get a client week 3 sat in front of me on Google Meet. We're having a conversation. I feel fucking incredible. I have managed to shift so many things mentally this week, and I've dealt with this, and this task helped me. And I'm like, cool, wonderful. They start to believe that everything's okay and start to, next session comes along. I've had a really shit week. I feel fucking, and I was like, what did we tell you? Like, repetition builds recognition. Okay, so the things that you're now learning, the viewpoints that you're now taking, the way that you've learned to reframe things and the way that you are reframing things, this needs to become a habit. And I think 12 weeks is a good amount of time to
It's the perfect amount of time scientifically.
Build habits.
3 months, 12 weeks is the exact time that's proven neuroscientifically to rewire the synapses in the brain. So that's why I do that as well, because you're right. And it's like, first we need to teach you the thing, then you need to start to see the triggers or whatever. This is for mine, different than yours obviously, but we need to feel the emotion, validate, see what's going on. Then we need to see what's sparking the problem. Then we need to reparent. This is with mine, again, my inner child that you don't believe in, but that's okay. Reparent the inner child continuously. How old am I in this situation? What am I resorting back to? What are my coping mechanisms? And then it's the integration piece. But everybody wants to skip the integration. They just want to just get in, get out, and not actually do the work. And like you said, I love that, because when you feel better for the first time, that's not it. You're not done.
No.
You know, but
I'm
everyone
not done.
does that. We have so many more. It's rewiring and reconfiguring the way that you think, which happened since you were a little kid, or lifetimes if you really want to look at it, you know, but you can't just rewire it in one situation, in one healing session. That's why I don't do one-on-ones anymore. It's too much for me to just do a one-on-one and not actually see them to the end of the finish line, because I feel everything they're feeling and I want them to get to that point that they're good.
Yeah, I think a little bit of healthy detachment actually helps me serve as well. So I make sure sometimes before I go in, or 30 minutes into a client call, and again, just a little thing that started to work for me, which I've noticed. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but then I will analyze my transcripts and I will sit, how can I be a better coach? And one of the things I started to learn is if I emotionally detach and speak at somebody for 15 minutes, after the 30 minutes of being attached, we get a lot more done, because then it becomes more of an authoritative figure. And there's a lot of safe spaces at the minute and not a lot of doing the fucking work, right? It's like, oh, you need a cuddle. No, motherfucker, you need to stop gambling, right? You know what I mean? Oh, you just need to be at peace? No, you need to stop rolling a fucking £20 note up and sniffing cocaine in the fucking toilets of your local pub on a Tuesday night. Like, yeah, safe spaces are important temporarily in situations.
I think you need it in the beginning. You need it in the beginning to develop the safety with that client.
There's a lot of victims. There's a lot of fucking TikTok diagnoses and TikTok traumas and who's got the most trauma on TikTok and, you know, like safe spaces. It's just...
Yeah, bothers you. Well, so walk
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me necessarily. It's just, I won't leave here and start overthinking safe spaces. But if we end up talking about it, it's something that I have an opinion on.
Good, and you should have an opinion.
You know what I mean?
On
Like,
that.
it's like, I've needed safe spaces, but I've also needed my friends to turn around and go, bro, you're the fucking problem, sort it.
Do you work with more men or women?
Women.
You do?
I don't have a single male client.
That's interesting.
Middle-aged women.
Middle-aged women.
Yeah.
And you don't believe the safe space is something that they need, women, more so than men? That's where I was going with it. But
I was raised by my mum, so I was in a very masculine. My mum was in her masculine energy for a lot of my childhood, but she was also a woman. So as much as a woman might need to sometimes be in a masculine energy, I feel like she also very much had that. She was in the masculine energy to be maternal. It was a protective masculine energy, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, fucking hell, she'd go outside and end up scrapping with my neighbour next door, like, fist fighting, right, over the fact that she needed me to go to sleep for school tomorrow, but she was fucking banging on the walls and fucking screaming at her kid next door, and she's like, my child's trying to get to sleep, do you know what I mean? And it would literally go to blows sometimes. Like, fucking hell, I remember bringing a, like, horse manure back from the stables, because my mum had a horse, and, which is why we never had any money, and, yeah, it just fucking bonkers. Absolutely, but she'd like tip horse shit on my neighbour's doorstep, like, just to spite her. Like, it was fucked up. My mum stabbed my dad, okay, in the shoulder before I was born because he was going to a party she weren't invited to. And like, if you had met her before she died, you would not have a fucking clue. She was the loveliest woman in the world. Do you know what I mean? She was literally the loveliest woman in the world. But I think it took a lot of rough to make her that nice, you know?
Hey, isn't that the truth, though?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like, I can't remember who said that, so don't fucking quote me, but I remember hearing it and resonating with it, and it's like it took a lot of pain and a lot of anger to make me this nice.
Yeah.
You know? Like, things don't bother me because bigger things have bothered me. Like, I don't get wound up stuck in traffic. I don't get... The loss of a relationship, for example, will never hurt me as much as what happened when my mum died. So my comparative pain is so different now that I'm just not bothered. It's just a lot of things I'm just not bothered by. Which is also a problem because then some of the people that may be close to you and may need a little bit of emotional assistance during things, sometimes it's hard to listen to somebody and be like, what the fuck are you moaning about? But then that's the biggest thing that's happened in their life. So you have to take a step back and you have to, or not even my own life, some of my clients' lives. Some of the people I work with have experienced things that no human being should ever have to experience, you know? And that's the same, not just in grief, but in a lot of things. But, you know, there's people who have found their partners hanging from an attic when they've come home from work and all they did was leave them for 2 hours, like, and the whole life changed. You know what I mean? Like, everything changes in that moment. And then I don't know, hear somebody moaning about the hairdressers. I'm like, I want to throw you in the sea. Let me blanket statement this one again, that as a human race, we're fucking awful.
Yeah?
To the planet, to each other, as a blanket statement.
Do you think it's changing, though? I'm trying to change it.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but I am trying to best serve humanity while I'm here.
Same.
Yeah?
Same. It's a hard job.
Do I think that is going to change the world? No, because it doesn't matter who you are. You might be able to change some individuals' lives, and I completely agree, and I'm on board with that. But changing society in the way that it is, absolutely fucking not, no.
You don't think so? You don't think
you don't have enough money for that? No, I don't think it's possible, no. Absolutely not, no. The government is way too embedded for a couple of people with crystals at a full moon, right, to fucking make a difference. I'm sorry, it's not possible.
I believe that when we shift...
I like the idea.
What if we shift I have shifted the way that I look at the government, rather than the government.
I'm interested. Please continue.
So I have shifted that I can only change what's in my control, what's in control of me, and everything else is a perception of what I'm looking at, whatever the lens is at. And depending on where I'm at that day, depends on how I'm going to look at the situation. So, for example, if something happens in the USA right now, which is crazy going on. I do love Donald Trump.
Me too.
I think he's fantastic, but and I will post that on my podcast, and I can't wait for people to come at me. But
you can come at me too.
But I love him. I think he's great, and I think he's showing what authenticity looks like and standing up for what you believe in and things like that. But so for me, depending on what's happened in that day is going to be how I react to something outside of my control. Like if I've had a great day, I've woken up, I've meditated, I've gotten to the gym, I've hung out with my dogs, I've gotten sunshine, I've done the things that I need to keep myself consciously here and present, the outside world doesn't necessarily bother me as much. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas if I have not taken care of myself, I've prioritized connection over my own needs, which I've gone and done all the things to help others, but I haven't done the stuff for myself. And then something like that happens, it's going to trigger me a hell of a lot differently because it's going to make me feel a certain way. But I'm in control of how I feel. So whatever's going on with the government, I can't change it. But I can decide where I live. I can decide who I connect with.
For now.
Yeah, well, for right now. But all we have is right now.
I agree.
So for right now, I can control who I'm talking to, where I live, how I spend my time, how I make my money, what I eat. And that's enough.
I completely agree with what you've just said for people like me and you, but you also just explained prior to that about NPCs and how we need them. The NPCs, unfortunately, are the masses of the population, which are run and controlled by the government. So do I think that we can change the world? No.
No, but I think we can change the
change
right people that are meant to come in our life, that is energetic and law of resonance, that comes into our field, that wants to get better and wants to start to look at the world this way. You are a creator of your reality. At every moment, we're creating our reality. Unfortunately, something fucking happened, God knows how long ago, to create this shit show that we're now a part of, where everybody wakes up, goes to work, eats fucking disgusting ass food, doesn't go to the gym, comes home to a partner that they hate, complains about it, goes to sleep, does it again. Yeah? The program with most of the world. I'm not in that program. I got out. And I can help whoever the hell wants to that's watching this get out of that program. And you know how you get out of that program? Pain. Grief. Loss.
I believe that you can change the world for somebody, but I don't believe we can change the world. I'm a realist. If I speak to somebody on the phone and I genuinely don't believe I can help them, I'll say, sorry, this isn't for me.
I love that.
I don't take the client. I don't care about the money in that situation because I'm not going to get them the result they're looking for.
So if that's the case, and I love that because I agree. If I can't help you, I won't take you on as a client either. But if you can help them, like what does the perfect client have to have in order for you to know that you can 100% change their reality?
First and foremost, I have to be able to feel them over the phone. Okay, so this again, I don't necessarily know your audience. And I suppose this would be good for my audience to hear, is that intuition is a huge thing, huge, and it's huge in my life. And I truly believe in energy. Again, I said this earlier on today that there's too many things in my life where I can't not believe. Like, I'd just be fucking stupid if I didn't. And my intuition will serve me and my client exactly how it needs to. And I believe that if I can feel you over the phone and I can feel the authenticity in your pain and I can feel the authenticity in your want for change, then I can help you.
And how do you receive that?
The only way I can describe it, and it sounds fucking, I hate it. It's so cheesy and cliche. I absolutely hate it, but it's like a direct download from source. Okay? It is a direct. It's even, for example, when let's say, for example, I'm over here in Canggu, right? I live over in Chamagi. I'm over in Canggu and I am just out for some food, but I know I've got a client at 4 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. Okay, 20 past 3. I'm going to set off back. I'm driving back. How the fuck am I going to help this person today? Like, I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like, I don't even know what then. And we get on the call, and the second we get on the call, I am locked the fuck in. And by the time we leave that call, that person has a different mentality every time, religiously, without fucking fail. Okay? I don't know where that comes from.
You're a conduit.
I don't know where that comes from. So this is, again, my problem earlier on when we were discussing content and what do we choose for content idea. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. If I feel like shit, scroll through my Instagram, you will find reels where I feel like shit. And I tell you I feel like shit. Like, the lighting might not be fucking great. I might be on the side of the road and there could be a motorbike in the background, but guess what? That's my real life. It's the unedited, unfiltered, authentic, realist version that I can give you. And if I can't give that, I don't want to post it.
I struggle even with my podcast sometimes because I just want to have a conversation and I just want to talk about what comes up. And
That's what a podcast should be.
And what ends up happening is I try to like overstructure it and overplan it, and it never goes the way that I intended it to. But neither does healing. Mm-hmm. And I try to create these 12-week programs, and nothing. It's like, it's funny because it's almost like I think I'm God, you know, trying to make this program. Like you said, it's every person is so different, which is why I stopped. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have you. This is going to be a 90-day, 4-session container where I'm going to give you what you need, and I promise you change at the end. And you just got to believe that you can do it.
Absolutely.
What's really beautiful, and I want to touch on, is your father's absence, you know, as a child, led you to being a space holder, a presence for people. You know, even that journey is pain to purpose. It's not just your mother's death. I see that as well. You know, you're helping with grief, but the abandonment from childhood, you're being that person for somebody that you needed in your darkest, you know? Like, I really just think it's really beautiful that you've bridged that pain to purpose so perfectly.
Fucking hell, there's so much more. We don't have time for it, but there's a lot more to the stages which led me to do what I'm doing. Because I might niche in grief, and that might be my main focus on the people that I work with, but every single person that comes through my door, it's life. It's not grief. It's life. Grief is just the topic that we're talking about, but what we end up doing is life. I just don't like the terminology of a life coach.
And would you say you're a coach? Like, do you coach them through and channel source, or are you using any other techniques with your clients?
Every single person that I work with is told first and foremost and has to sign that they understand I am not a counselor, I am not a therapist, and I am not a trained psychologist. Every conversation that we have is based upon my own experience, the things that I have learned from other clients, and my own knowledge, information, and wisdom that I have gained throughout this life. And they understand that. So if you were my client and we were having a conversation, I would first, before I gave it to you, say, can I give you my opinion on that? It's a question. It's not forced upon you. Like, can I give you okay if I give you my opinion on that? Yeah, okay, cool. This is how I view it. And then once I've finished, that's the direct download. That's the bit I want to give. But you have to be careful as a coach, because coaching is meant to be about asking the relevant questions so that the person gets to their own answers, which we do some of, but sometimes people just need to hear it. People just need to black and white fucking hear it. Look, the reason why your love was different with that guy is because that was a maternal love. He needed taking care of and looking after. And you love this person very differently because this is your feminine love. You are in your feminine energy here because this person, you know, he doesn't fucking need you, right? Therefore, you can be this. You know, whereas over here, you were fucking required all the time to wait on hand and foot, and he needed a mum, not a wife, right? Okay, so of course you can love differently, love, yes, right? That needs to just be said sometimes, because it's factual. As a coach, you're not necessarily meant to go down that road, because that pushes borderline psychology, but it's facts, it's factual information. I'm sorry, but just because you've got a piece of paper on the wall, don't mean I didn't read the fucking same book as you did. You know? And then lived it, and now I can talk about it.
So if clients want to come work with you on grief, you know, how does that work? They set up a call?
Everything starts with a phone call. We need to first and foremost see if we are a right fit for each other. And that is super important, because if I don't believe that we are, then we're never going to get to where you want to be. So the easiest way is always Instagram, website, YouTube. To be honest with you, the website is literally just a landing page to book a call. Okay, everything is about that phone call. But yeah, it's just Matt B. Murray on Instagram, DM, book a call, get on the phone. From there, we'll see if we can work together. Then what I request is a 48-hour period between us agreeing to work together and us having our first phone call, because there is a couple of writing tasks that I want to send you before we get on the phone. There's a lot that I need you to do. And a lot of things. I want your brain ready for the call and in the space of doing the work not just starting that on the call.
Well, you seem like a very present person that's kind of living in the moment, but is there anything that we can look forward to coming from you in the near future outside of working with clients one-on-one?
I can't tell you that. I don't know. Probably. If my life is anything to go off so far, year to year, I look back and I go, what the fuck just happened? And then next year I look back and I go, what the fuck just happened? And then next year I look back and I go, what the fuck just happened? I mean, I've lived in Bali in Indonesia for 12 months, and I moved here with a girl that I've known for 10 weeks. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I believe you are always exactly where you're meant to be in this life.
100%.
Stop trying to fucking control it all the time.
Trust.
Do what you can today. Go with the fucking process. Again, as Alan Watts would say, if you jump into the fucking stream and you're trying to swim uphill, you're going to drown. Okay, sometimes you just need to get on the fucking lilo. Get on the lilo, have a little float. You might hit some fucking rocks, but guess what? You brought a repair kit with you, so you can patch that motherfucker up and keep on floating down. But stop trying to swim upstream.
Don't know if we could end it any more perfectly. So I just want to say thank you so much for being on your path of surrender. For anybody watching that wants any more information, I will make sure to include that in the description about Matt and everything that's going on with him. But thank you for coming and spending time with me today.
Oh, thank you for being you. I mean that with all sincerity. Thank you for being you. You have a wonderful mind.
Wow, guys, what another profound journey with Matt today. And I'm just in awe of the depth and wisdom that we talked through today. So let's just take a moment to breathe and reflect on the gifts of this conversation. We learned a deeper understanding of grief as a transformative force in our lives. It's not just about loss, but about rebirth and rediscovery. We looked at the inspiration to look within and begin your own healing journey. Because remember, you have the strength within you to face your pain and grow through it. Because healing isn't about avoiding the hurt, you guys, but about embracing it as part of your journey. And these insights into how grief work can lead to profound personal growth. So whether you're in the thick of it or supporting someone who is, remember that the key is to start the journey inward. That's where true healing begins. And if this conversation has stirred something deep within you, if you're feeling that pull to dive deeper into your own healing journey, I want to invite you to explore 2 transformative programs I offer. First, we've got my Embodied Healer program. This is for those of you who feel called not only to heal yourself, but to become that beacon of healing for others. And in this program, we'll teach you about energy work, trauma release, and other holistic healing modalities that will beautifully complement the grief work Matt discussed today. You'll learn to tap into your innate healing ability, understand the language of energy, and develop the skills to guide others on their healing journeys. And for those of you ready to step fully into your purpose, we offer the Soul Path Mastery program. This is an intensive journey of self-discovery and alignment, and we work to really clear the energetic blockages and tap into your innate wisdom. It's about peeling back the layers, facing your shadows, and emerging as your most authentic, powerful self. And both of these programs are designed to create profound, lasting transformation, much like the journey Matt guides people through. It's about breaking free from the limitations of your past, healing that deep-seated trauma, and stepping into the life of purpose and deep fulfillment, which we all deserve and can do. So, if you're ready to liberate your bliss and break free from all those old patterns and limiting beliefs, I invite you to take that next step. Head on over to my website or reach out directly on Instagram. Let's continue this journey of healing and self-discovery together. Remember, guys, the path to healing isn't always easy, and every step you take towards your own healing will ripple out, affecting not just your life, but the lives of every single person around you. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, remember, you are life force itself. Embrace the present moment, love yourself deeply, and trust in your ability to rebuild and transform your life. If you found value in this episode, please follow, rate, review. It really helps me reach more people with all of this powerful information. And for those watching on YouTube, give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what you'd like to hear in future episodes. I'm always looking to serve you more. So see you next time. And remember, may you walk in beauty, may you speak in your truth, and may you always, always, always liberate your bliss.